Now this is a campaign book. Here at Tattoo Tabletop, we have a lot of fun, so be sure to like, share, subscribe. It's all completely free and it helps me out. And if you really want to help me out, come join our Patreon. Link is in the description where you can come post and talk about your favorite minis. Now back to the video. Welcome to Tattoo Tabletop. My name is James, and today we are talking about the final campaign book, Armageddon, The Return of Yark, War Without End. So this is the final campaign book for 10th edition, and let me just say, it goes out with a bang. I am very excited for this one. Obviously, we got the grand reveal that Commissar Yark is indeed still alive, and we all wondered how he survived or what happened. We had questions. The book finally gave us some answers. So, and also allow me to say, the cinematic announcing his return was top tier. Probably one of their absolute best cinematics, and I hope they continue to do more of those in the future, and not just for new editions. And hopefully, they continue to do them for, their channel for Warhammer Plus, because I would love to see them to continue to take this progress in terms of adding their animations and get better. But I digress. So what we have that happens in here? So let's just go through a few bits and pieces about the book. We'll break down a few little odds and ends, but for the most part, we're going to keep this pretty brief because I'm sure you're reading this yourself. So let's just dive into it. So obviously, as with all the other ones, you have your detachments little pamphlet here, and of course, as is tradition, you have a Space Marine one, because why wouldn't you? But you also have Steel Hammer, Armored Infantry, Speedwall, Blitz Brigade. So a lot of very vehicle focused stuff, which is great. I've gone through the rules. They actually seem pretty solid. I like a lot of them. I actually think they have some very interesting things, especially for orcs, which I think is awesome because we now know what's in the launch box. And might be a hot take, but probably isn't. The orcs outclass the Space Marine models. Like, the Space Marine models still look good, but the orc models just pure bliss, absolute bliss. So you got your detachments. They're a fun time. I think we'll actually see some of them potentially, especially since Astra Militarum likes their tanks, and to officially be able to shoot their blast weapons into combat, they're going to be sitting pretty. They're pretty good. Let's just go with pretty good. And then of course we'll go back to the other one, so we'll cover this one. So this is the armored gauntlet. Sorry, I was trying to read it on the video and it's backwards and it was driving me nuts. So what is this? This is actually substantially thicker than I thought it would be. These are vehicle battles for Warhammer 40,000, or I suppose you could probably take them and still play them in 11th edition, because 11th edition is going to have some decent changes, but probably not enough to necessarily completely dissociate them from 10th. And I was surprised specifically because it has everybody. It's got all the factions in here. When I think about certain factions, like even Drukhari, yes, they have a lot of vehicles, but they're boats. They're not tanks. I found that you had Drukhari in here. You have the Adeptus Mechanicus. There's not a ton of tanks there. And it kind of outlines what those look like. It outlines the rules of how it all works. And of course, it talks about all the different factions. You have different upgrades, different damage charts, different things like that. It's actually kind of cool to see that broken out and divided amongst all of it. I honestly just anticipated it was going to be stuff for anything that just has tanks, but no, it's literally everything. And of course, in natural traditional fashion, you have some absolutely awesome artwork in there. There's some different objectives, there's like an entire campaign you can do for them, like for all of these. It's a cool time. And of course you have the Graves Dreadmobile on there, which yeah, what a dope vehicle. So a lot of cool stuff in there. Big fan of the Armored Gauntlet stuff. I think it could be actually really fun with enough people with a lot of tanks. So let's just get on to the main bread and butter. The reason why we're all reading this, and well, at least for me, because I do care about the lore. Yark. Sebastian Yark is back. How did this all happen? So, number one, he got headbutted. He got headbutted real hard. You'd think I'm joking, but I'm actually not. He literally got headbutted. So the story goes that he caught up with Gazgul Nekor Thraka, got into a fight with him one-on-one, mano a orc, or mano a big orc. Either way, very interesting and kind of hilarious that he got Ed butted, literally just forehead smash, because they obviously have two massive power claws. You know, Commissar Yarrick famously has his little nippers here, and then Gazgul has his massive F off massive claw, and the way that he does them in is he literally Ed butts Yarrick into the dirt, which is again hilarious. But the Astra Militarum naturally thinks he is dead, starts spreading rumors of his death, etc., and just like, nope, he has fallen because he got headbutted into oblivion. But as it turns out, he was still alive, and the Space Wolves actually came and picked him up, brought him back, nursed him to health. The interesting bit I found in the book, though, is it seems as Yarrick is kind of recounting everything that's happened to him, it seems as though he feels like the Space Wolves don't really like him, or they have some sort of weird disdain for him, for bringing him back. It's a very interesting thing. I think part of it could be just because when Space Marines intervene with humans, they tend not to. They tend to leave them completely alone. If they're dying in a last desperate step, like escape or something, they'll help sometimes where they can, but for the most part, they just kind of accept that mortals are mortals, etc. Um, but yeah, there's this little tidbit here, even just to kind of think about, you know, where's a good one here? Okay, here's a good little clip. So here's one little paragraph in there. The Rizian warriors he had fought beside had brought him back from the abyss. That much he knew. He asked why their skull-helmed priest, wolf priest, had told him he was more important to the fate of Armageddon than he realized. Yarrick knew the value of symbols well and had not pressed the matter. Yet they had hardly spoken to him since, as if they could sense the same dreadful wrongness he felt. And so basically, he just kind of goes back and forth, and he even says that he smells the curse of Armageddon upon me, and all this other stuff. So he kind of has this weird resentment, and spoiler alert, he's also recovering his memory bits and pieces at a time, because when you get Ed-butted by the biggest boss in the entire galaxy, you're going to lose some memory, some pressures. You're going to forget some dates. You know, you're going to you're going to cancel plans that you didn't know you had. It's going to happen. So it's interesting to see that kind of resentment in there. But again, you know, it was interesting to find out. But what else are you going to find here? Well, you're going to find his campaign across Armageddon. He lands on Armageddon. He goes through this whole thing. There's a lot of plot points in here. I'm going to abridge them because there are people who are better than me at it. But kind of the abridged version is he realizes that all the hives are falling. The green tide is here. They have a mega teleporter, and it is bringing in orcs by the mass. They're crashing more asteroids. They're bringing more things in. There's a lot happening on Armageddon, and Armageddon is falling. It's not holding. It is falling, and it's falling right in front of him. So what does he have to do? He's got to get a message out to whoever to see if they can help him. And so what does he do? Well, he tries to reach out, and I believe the mega teleporter actually blocks him from that. And so the first time, one of the cool little twists that happens in here, this one I will spoiler alert for you, but when he does get to this astropathic choir, basically he gets these astropaths to send a message to try and breach through the interference and to get a message out. He finds blood axes have murdered all of them, had snuck into the hive and killed them all. It was a really kind of cool plot point. The thing that this book did really well is it kept you guessing. It was moving the plot forward. There's a lot of action. His skirmishes with Wazdaka Gutsmack and all of that, it really moved the narrative forward. I felt the impact of reading this, kind of unlike some of the other ones. The other ones I was reading, and sometimes it felt like very stationary, or sometimes it was just like, yes, there was much destruction, but you didn't feel it. This one was all gas, pun intended. Or was it? But I think that this was doing a lot of really good things, and I really loved a lot of the plot twists. And of course, at the end, he does manage to get his message out, and he ends up hearing one thing in return, because as officers' shouts caught in their throat, a buzz of feedback scratched over the Vox network. A static-laced voice emerged from the Vox emitter. its timber possessing the distinctive power and authority of one of the Emperor's angels. Amid the sound, a single word was heard: Imperator. So that sets us up for the 11th edition launch. Of course, that is still back on Armageddon, but this time we have Lead Angels are the main faction shown in the box. But of course, there are many, many more. There are Ultramarines, there are Salamanders. It sounds like a little bit of everybody is there on Armageddon, and they're going to try and retake Armageddon before it completely falls to the Orcs. Obviously, because this is also Eleanor. So there's a lot at stake here for a single planet, which is kind of interesting to see. But again, this is where Warhammer 40k does really tend to excel. When you have these big momentous moments, of course, Gazgul being the main bad, he's got some also really cool characters with him. He's got Orcamedes, one of the orc warlords, big Finkas that helped put together the Mega Teleporta and everything like that. And I think that this has done an incredible job of actually telling that story and doing a lot more with it. So if you were looking for a review out of this video, 9 out of 10, I would pick this one up. This is really good. And not to mention, not only did we get a really good book out of it, but we also got really cool models. We now have the, Centaur ATV. We have we have Commissar Grave. We have Inquisitor Croyle, Intransia Frey, Hippogriff AFV, AFV, and the Centaur RSV. You've got Wazaka Gutsmech is in there. So now you have these really cool models. You got extra additives. And of course, I always love the miniature photography, especially for the Astra Militarum. I think they do so many cool things with them. It's some of my favorites to look at. I mean, these are the things that personally inspire me as a Warhammer player, is when I get to look at the miniature photography and how they stage them and the stories they tell. And of course, when you look at the big artwork of the Mega Teleport and stuff like that, I think this book really kind of encapsulates what pulls you into Warhammer 40,000. And I am very excited to see how it transpires. I am very excited with the launch of 11th edition. I have some very, very big plans for it. Not disclosing quite yet. I'm sure you'll see me, and I'll definitely post and let you know where I might be during the launch of 11th edition, but we'll get there. So again, my big review, Armageddon, big win. Thus far, so let me actually do this real quick, and let me just real quick rate all the major campaign books, because I have them. Let me just rotate for a second. Okay, so we've got the 500 Worlds. We have the Maelstrom. We have the Eye of Terror. And we now have Armageddon, Return of Yark. We had 4 of them. I think we had 4 of them, unless I put one somewhere else. But I'm pretty sure that's all we had. On a scale rating best from best to worst, I would probably have to say Armageddon #1, easy. And then I'd probably have to go with 500 Worlds, Maelstrom, and then Eye of Terror. Eye of Terror was one that I wasn't nearly as excited on. It did give us Defilers, did give us Graphic Morn, it gave us a little bit of the Iron Warriors, and hopefully their later machinations as well. But for me, I think the story and some of the plot points were a lot bigger in Armageddon and in 500 Worlds. 500 Worlds obviously gave us the big tease that the Lion is going to Roboot to talk to his brother for the first time ever. I'm really excited for that to eventually show up somewhere so that we can find out what was discussed and what that all meant. But also, you got the really cool story of Captain Titus and his now becoming the Warden of Ultramar and needing to reclaim the 500 Worlds. This impossible request by the Primarch. I think that it adds a nice stake to it, and I think it adds a nice weight. So I think that book has done a fantastic job there. Maelstrom did add some cool stuff. We got some cool Chaos shenanigans. We understand the renegade side of things of Chaos, where they're not necessarily directly influenced by Chaos powers, and they're there to more so cause chaos more than anything else. But I think it added a neat perspective. So I think that is my order there. But of course, if you like this content, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you think about this book down in the comments down below. Did you like Armageddon? Are you excited for the launch of 11th edition? Are you kind of just patiently waiting like I am for it? Waiting for the inevitable pre-order to see when it starts coming up and everything like that? Let me know down in the comments down below. And again, until next time, if you did jump into Armageddon, and if you're an Astra Militarum player, where you picked up, I don't know, multiple army boxes. I did not. I stayed strong this time. I stayed strong. That being said, I'll probably cave later. Until next time, go paint something.